guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kashish, and in today's video I'm gonna finally talk about all the books I read in the month of September. I know I'm again very late for this video, but it's just I get a bit lazy recording my monthly wrap-ups. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm finally doing this. And I read 9 books in the month of September. 8 books were from my physical TBR, and I just read 1 book from my Kindle, which is like a very big development for me because I always end up reading more on my Kindle. But I'm glad that this time I read more of my physical books. So let's just get started. So the first book that I read in the month of September was My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. So this is my first book by Tessa Bailey. I've not read anything by her before this, and I really ended up enjoying it. It was so good. I gave it 4 stars. It's a small town romance, a murder mystery, grumpy sunshine troupe, and it's just really nice. So like it's about Taylor, who's our main character. She's a high school teacher, and she and her brother end up going on a trip to Cape Cod, and in their rental, Taylor finds a dead body, and that's when our male character, that is Miles, who's a bounty hunter, ends up there to investigate the case. And all of a sudden Taylor has this realization that her life is very boring and she wants it to be interesting. So she kind of hounds Miles into letting her also be a part of the investigation. So it's just a really fun short read. You will enjoy it, and it's just I loved Miles and how obsessed he was with her. Like, he's the kind of guy who'll be like, I'm not ever gonna get married or fall in love with somebody, but the way he just ends up falling for her is just amazing. I really enjoyed it and I loved it. So yeah, this is the first book that I read, and now talking about the second one, which was Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. So this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2023, and thank you so much Hatchet India for sending this book to me. But unfortunately I didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping. I gave it 3 stars. It's the third and the last book in the Knock Him Out series, and this one was about Lucian and Salone. It's a small town romance, again, kind of second chance, then childhood friends to enemies to lovers. And the tropes are really good, but it's just that I was so disappointed because this is a huge book, okay? And it's just the first 200 pages, literally nothing was happening, and the banter felt so bad to me, and the writing, oh my god, I don't know what was wrong with the writing, but some of the sentences or the things that Sloane just said was so off-putting, and I just didn't end up liking her character. Even though she is a proper bookworm, I couldn't connect with her character at all. But I loved Lucian, no doubt about that. He is freaking amazing, and my heart breaks, because everything that both of them went through actually when they were younger, that was just, I felt really bad about that. But it's just, I was gonna give this book 2 stars, but the epilogue, the bonus epilogue in the end was freaking amazing. I loved it. Oh my god, I'm gonna miss these characters so much. I was really sad that I didn't end up enjoying this book as much as I was hoping, but I am glad that we got that epilogue with everybody in the picture, and it's just all the kids, and I love that. I just love that. If there's not a bonus epilogue after a few years, then there's something wrong with the book, because that is something that has to be there. At least for me, I need that. So I loved that part, and I'm still gonna love this series with my whole heart, irrespective of this book not meeting my expectations as such. So yeah, this is the second book I read that month. Now coming on to the third one, which was Powerless by Elsie Silver. So I give this book 4 stars. It's a childhood friends to lovers, small town romance, hockey romance, and it's just it was really nice. Like, I really enjoyed it. I'm not a fan of Friends to Lovers because I feel like there's no build up, because they've already known each other. But and now the only thing that's left is for them to realize that they actually have been in love with each other for such a long time. And it's just so but like, I like the whole road trip concept and the way they just went and fell in love or realized that they like each other. Actually, they knew, but it's just finally acting on their feelings. Yeah. But overall, I felt that both the characters in this book had like a really really bland personality. I don't know why. Like, I should have given this like less. Like, my rating should have been less, considering like I felt that the characters were too bland for me. But I don't know, somewhere or the other, I just enjoyed the whole scenario and the storyline, and just the whole Eaton family is just, I love that family, and it's just seeing all of the characters together. It's just so much fun. That's why I love interconnected standalones. I guess that's why I gave it 4 stars. But overall, it was a bit disappointing. Like, but still a good read. Much better than the first two books, though, if I'm being really honest. So yeah, this is the third book that I read, and the next one was The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. So this is about Lael Solovov and Geeta. So this is their love story, and this is actually based on true events. And while they fell in love, the backdrop of the story is the World War II. Like, during the World War II and the concentration camps, what happened. So Lael and Geeta were a part of that, and that is the backdrop of the story. And it was really heartbreaking to read. Oh my god, it was just like, the events are so horrifying and just so shocking. It's just, I've known that it had happened, but it's just not in these gruesome details. Yeah, so I did enjoy it. Like, the romance was really cute, and I loved it that they ended up together in the end. It's just that somewhere or the other, the writing was a bit lacking for me. Like, I couldn't feel that connected to the characters, or like the storyline in general. Like, I enjoyed reading it. I was with the characters, with all their emotions, but somewhere or the other, I don't know, just the writing was just not speaking out to me. That's why I gave it 3.5 stars. I know that this book is like really really famous, and yeah, I get that it is. Like, for some people, they might end up love reading it. Like, if you're a first time reader and if you pick up this book, you will definitely like it. But it's just, when you've read so many books with such good writing, you can't help but compare it. So that's how I felt when I read this. But I did enjoy it, and it's very heartbreaking, and I definitely recommend it, because it's just, you should know what happens in this book. So yeah, I guess that's it for this book, and let's move on to the next one. So this was my favorite read of September, and I loved this book. It was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Like, I give it infinity stars. It's a debut novel, and oh my god, this book is written so well. And it's just, the troops are also amazing. It's enemies to lovers, it's dagger to the throat scene. Then it has like a lot of Hunger Games vibe, very similar to Hunger Games. And so the major plot line of this fantasy romance is that there are, in the kingdom of Ilya, there are elites and there are ordinaries. So elites are the ones who have powers, and ordinaries are the ones who don't have powers. And our main character, Payden, is an ordinary, and our male character is an elite. And he has the kind of power where he can detect if a person is an elite or an ordinary. But somewhere or the other, he does not end up realizing that about Pay. That you'll find out when you read the book. But it's just so good, and it's just so, Payden actually kind of ends up saving Kai's life. Kai is our main character, and that's how she ends up selected for these purging trials that happen in every 4 years, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah. And it's just so good. Like, the banter, the romance, the writing, and the plot. Like, the plot took a bit of a setback in this book, but I'm really hoping that in the second one it'll be more plot oriented as compared to the first one, and even there's betrayal in the end. I mean, like that kind of hurts, but it just adds so much more depth to those characters. And I'm just dying for the second book because I want to read it so bad. As like I kind of regret starting the first one because now I will have to wait for a really long time, because I think the second book comes out in July next year, and it's too long, and it's just I loved this book so much that I want the second one, and I definitely recommend it. Like, if you trust my reviews, then just read it, please. I love it. So yeah, this is the next book, and oh my god, oh my god. So this Meet Your Match by Candy Steiner. Okay, so I gave this book 2 stars. I wish I could give it lower, but I just feel like 2 is fair enough because I did kind of enjoy the first 50% of the book, but after that it just went downhill, and I was just like, no, why is this so bad? Like, I love Candy Steiner's books because I love her Red Zone Rivals series, and this is her new series, but it was so bad. Like, both of our main characters, Vince and Maven, were so freaking childish and annoying. Like, they're actual adults. It's not even like it's a college hockey romance. They're actually adults, like in their 20s, and they act like freaking child. Like, I hated this book that much. Like, in the first chapter I didn't like Maven, but sometimes there is a chance for like a character development as we go along the book, but like nothing happened. Her character just became even more annoying as we went ahead. And like, there was this scene where Vince was like jealous, and then he just ended up with another girl to make Mavic jealous. I'm like, oh my god, dude, why are you so childish? Oh my god, I hated that. And there was this scene where Vince is kind of teaching Maven how to do pottery, and then there's this scene after that. It's just so bad. I was like, no, I don't want to read about something like this, please. I'm sorry, but this was so bad. Like, I was actually intrigued about the characters that are coming up in the next book, but it's just I never want to see both of them again. So I think I'm just never gonna read this series because I just do not want to see them again in my life. So yeah, I had a major trauma reading this book. It was so bad. Please. Bad. This is the only book that was bad this month that I read. And the next one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn, Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I give this book 3 stars. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy reading it, but I think I would just give it a 3 stars. I don't think it was a 5-star for me because, when I finished reading it, I was confused. Like, did I like it or did I not like it? It took me a lot of time to come to this conclusion that I'm gonna give this book 3 stars because that is like my neutral rating. It's that I didn't end up loving it, but I also didn't end up entirely hating it. So this is about Evelyn Hugo, who is like a famous actress, and she's known for being married 7 times, and then now she's finally in her 80s or 70s, and she finally wants to tell her story to the world, and she like requests this person called Monique, and she's very specific about the fact that she will only talk to her and not to anybody else. So there is a mystery behind that as well. That was something that that kept me hooked to this book. Like, I read it in a day. It was so good. Like, I read it in a day. But it's just like, I have to say that the author has written Evelyn's character like in such a good way, because you end up hating her, despising her. She's such a toxic person, but at the same time you can't help but admire and look up to her as well. It's like I like throughout the book I was feeling the way Monique was feeling about Evelyn. Like, it was all confused, jumbled, and it's just like her character was written so good. Like, she's the type of person who, yeah, like I said, she's a very toxic person. You don't end up liking her most of the times, and sometimes I just felt like you deserve this because that is the kind of decision that you made for your life. So that was how I was feeling when I was reading this book. But the reason I gave it 3 stars is because I felt like it was too short to like kind of narrate her whole story. Like I found it interesting how it was narrated in the form of her 7 husbands and that timeline of her life, but I felt like it was too rushed, and I couldn't like genuinely connect to any of the other characters besides Harry. And I do like to connect to other characters. I feel like I said, I wanted to connect more with the characters, and it's just, I don't know, that didn't happen for me, and it felt a little bland in between also. So I guess that's why I gave it 3 stars, but I will not deny it. I did enjoy it, and I did have like a big bag of emotions while I was reading this. I think that is something which was something different for me as well. So yeah, and the next book that I read that month was The World Between Us by Sarah Naveed. So this was again a cute short read. I gave it 3 stars. Like nothing was wrong with it, but it's just like whatever I got, I was content with, and there's nothing wrong with the book. It's just that I felt like it's good enough for 3 stars. There was nothing that special about it that I gave it 4 or 5 stars. So this is about Amal and Qais. So Amal ends up on Tinder, and she kind of ends up connecting with her boss, but then she doesn't know that it's him, and it's kind of like a workplace romance, and it's just both of them have some kind of major trauma going on in their lives. Like there's this plot twist here which was like very predictable. I think that's why I gave it 3 stars. If it was more of something that would have shocked me, I would have probably given it more, but it was kind of predictable. But it was just a nice short read, and I read a new author that month, so I was really happy about that, because I always end up reading books that are really trending on Bookstagram, but this is something that I've not seen. So I was glad that I read it, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. You should give it a try too. So yeah, I guess this is it for all the physical books that I read this month. Now let's talk about the one book which I read on my Kindle, which I don't remember what it is. So I'm just gonna go check my Goodreads and then I'll be back. Okay, so the book that I read on my Kindle was The Marriage Effect. So it was a marriage of convenience and kind of single guardian, because he's taking care of his 4 sisters, and it's also a sports romance. So that was also very nice, and it was a fun read. I gave it 3.5 stars. Again, nothing that special about it, but I just enjoyed reading it, and I loved seeing the children connect with the female main character, and it was a nice short read, and that's all I have to say. So yeah, I guess that's it for my September wrap up. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed my video, then do subscribe to my channel and let me know your best read of September. I know I'm really late to ask this, but do let me know. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.